I request everyone to please mute your mic and video. Once again, I request every participants to please mute your mic and video. Once again, I request everyone to please mute your mics and video. Mr. Sushil Sharma, Asha Yadav, please mute your videos. Mr. Sushil Sharma, please off your video. I
मैम
request everyone to please off your videos and turn off your mic.
जी ओके मैम
Raman Goswami, please mute your video.
पापा लाइव चल रहे हैं सेमिनार यूट्यूब पर देख ले राज्य तो लिंक भेजो यूट्यूब पर देख ले मैं जो
मैम मनन है वो
देख डालते भी कहीं
कैमरा होगा भी नहीं और सब आ गए खाना और कौन पूनम कटारिया
गई
बात है
Good afternoon, everybody. On the behalf of Mahatma Phule University family, we welcome you all. Here at MJRP University, we believe in the holistic development of students to excel in the changing global scenario. In this regard, university has included latest courses so that students can face the competitive world, we would like to show short presentation of the university. As we know, seeing is believing. In the last century of human history, the most devastating public health emergency has been in the form of novel coronavirus. It has not only hammered and shattered at socio and economic level, but also costed heavily to the human health and life, as it is said that show must go on. So we have to think, plan, and act, come out of this pandemic crisis. So, in this regard, today we are organizing a webinar on the topic COVID 19, a reform and a lesson to cope up with the challenges for the future development. सभी पार्टिसिपेंट से रिक्वेस्ट है कि जब सेशन खत्म होने वाला होगा उसके 20 मिनट पहले आपके पास एक लिंक आएगा उसमें फीडबैक फॉर्म अटैच होगा उस फॉर्म को उसे भरकर सबमिट करना है उससे आपका ई सर्टिफिकेट इमीडिएटली जनरेट हो जाएगा Now, we would like to invite our Honorable Chancellor, Mr. Nirmal Pawar sir. Okay, we are going. I feel extremely honored to introduce our chief guest, Dr.Naresh Kumar, specialist in tuberculosis, respiratory diseases, and working experience with UNICEF, USAID, Ministry of Health of India, and Saudi Arabia. Now, we would like to request our chief guest to proceed the event and share his experience and wise words regarding COVID-19. Dr. Naresh Kumar, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you for your words for my experience and can I start? Proceed, ma'am. Hello.
Sure, sir, you can start.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to the faculty of student of your university. So, briefing about what exactly
MGRP University.
I can understand COVID-19 disease. As Madam very well described, COVID-19 is actually challenged this humanity, and it is actually COVID-19 is changing us in a good way or the lesser way. World around is completely changing. It may seem huge change for us when we see it in the light of our lifetime, but for the life on the life scale of time scale of the humanity, this is a very small change in the course of humanity. I would like you to take through the history of pandemics. Why I'm talking about this is a very small change in the humanity, because pandemics have always played a very critical and crucial role in this human civilization. When we go back to the history around 14th century, there was a pandemic, we call it a Black Death. It was a bubonic plague. It was a very painful and higher mortality disease with the mortality rate of 90%. This disease killed almost 200 million people across the globe during those days. In this COVID-19 discussion, you might have heard about quarantine of people, quarantine of cases, quarantine of the people who are exposed to the COVID-19 patients. So what quarantine came from those 14th century discussions. During those days, the ships coming to the commercial ports were asked to wait in the sea for 40 days. During that 40 days, whosoever was on the ship, including the ship crew, passenger and traders, were actually asked to wait for 40 days. During that 40 days...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
sir, sorry to disturb you, sir. Video on kar lijiye, sir, aapka.
Is it video is not on? Okay, I'm sorry. I just didn't see it. Is it okay now, ma'am? I think there is an issue in this connectivity thing, because initially I also tried to switch on my video. It was not visible to me.
Okay.
Allow me to continue as it is. So I'm talking about quarantine, 40 days. So in those days, those ships were asked to stay in the sea for 40 days. During that 40 days, whosoever have the infection of plague, developed the symptom, died on the ship and thrown into the sea. That quarantine was practiced to save the thousands and millions of people living in the seaport, port cities. So that was actually the cruel one, but we are connected with this quarantine in current time. We isolated our infected people, we isolated our person who were exposed to the COVID-19. So these pandemics are not new to this humanity. Our humanity has great experience of pandemic. Our ancestors faced this pandemic. People of my age might be aware of this smallpox pandemic. From 1877 to 1977, this smallpox pandemic almost killed 500 million people across 100 years. This smallpox was having 35% mortality. By mortality, I mean, if 100 persons are infected and having symptoms, 35 died. With this mortality, smallpox created a devastation in this globe. But fortunate enough, we are able to, humanity have able to eradicate this disease in 1977. There is not a single case of smallpox since then, but we should not be forgetting this disease may have been eradicated, but the virus and the vaccine of smallpox is still preserved in a couple of labs in the world. So in case some similar kind of disease appear as a pandemic, we can use the vaccine and we can use the virus available in their reference lab. So once again, in talking about history, you might have heard about this Spanish flu almost 100 years back. During the First World War, at the end of the First World War, this Spanish flu appears, and soldiers coming back from their war front to the home carry the Spanish flu to the different countries. That Spanish flu killed almost 100 million people. Just estimate. You can understand if you are That Spanish flu with a mortality rate of 2.5% kill 100 million. So I'm talking about 90% mortality of plague, 35% mortality of smallpox, and 2.5% mortality of Spanish flu. Kill millions of people. What is similar between Spanish flu and COVID-19? It is very classical similarity. Even in that particular days, there was no vaccine, no treatment. Only weapon we are having as a medical community or the community, the social distancing, mask and hygiene practices. So when we fast track our life in the 2000, in 2002 and 2003, there was an pandemic called SARS. That was a scare across the globe. This disease is killing many people. But fortunately, we were able to control this disease within 1 year. Then there is the swine flu. You might have heard about the swine flu in 2009 and 10. Swine flu vaccination are still being given to the health workers in the government department, and the private hospitals are using this vaccine. Then there was a Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. This is a similar kind of disease when talking about as flu. So this flu was in 2012, 13, and then there was a interesting disease or difficult disease, Ebola. This Ebola actually alerted a global medical and health fraternity. If such kind of disease is spread across the globe, what kind of devastation, what kind of havoc they can play. Ebola was managed because of the aggressive intervention by the WHO and other international organizations and philanthropists and philanthropic organizations. In 2015, you might be surprised or you might be interested to know, in 2015, in a TED Talk, the Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, presently he is one of the largest philanthropists. He talked about next epidemic, are we prepared? In that particular talk, if we go through his speech and that talk, he said very categorically, if anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it is likely to be highly infectious virus rather than a war. It's continue with that, not missile. People will be killed by microbes. He was true in 2015. It was almost 5 years before he predicted or he warned us. If we talked about this disease, COVID-19 ke 45 million COVID cases are across the globe have been reported. Almost 1.18 million, almost million मतलब 10 लाख से ज़्यादा deaths हो चुकी हैं. Few experts are predicting the death toll may reach 2 million, and these are just the predictions. Predictions may fail, but we should be very much careful. We are in between this disease. Right now, when we talk about India, in India we are having more than 80 lakh cases and almost 1.2 lakh COVID deaths reported till yesterday. On September 17th, 2020, India daily COVID case toll was 97,000, so reaching 1 lakh a day. Almost 1,000 deaths, more than 1,000 deaths in a day. But we are right now we are seeing a decline in the cases. Currently, today there are 48,000 cases since last 24 hours. But this COVID data is important to note. We are living in a time where the treatment facilities are there. We are having access to the information across the board. So now I'll be talking about this, what exactly this COVID disease is. You might have come across any article, some information on the WhatsApp, information on your daily discussion with your teacher. This COVID disease is spread through coronavirus family. You might, in scientific student, you might have heard about this genetic mutation. This corona family, one virus who is mutated into a very deadly virus of corona. It jumped from, it is a kind of speculation. This comes from the bat family of virus in the Wuhan city. From Wuhan city, from bat to human and human, then it is becoming a human to human transmission of this disease. This virus is still mutating. Right now, researchers are telling us there are almost 6 to 8 type of variants of this virus available across the globe. There might be further study coming up in this, but these are the latest one. This virus is spread through droplets. You might be hearing since the beginning of this discussions of pandemic in the 2000 March or 2020 March, ड्रॉपलेट से फैलता है. अगर आपके जब बात कर रहा हूँ, अगर मैं अभी बात भी कर रहा हूँ, तो from my mouth there are some tiny particle of my saliva having some different kind of bacteria and virus within my mouth is spreading out. So droplets, and then when droplet drops on the surface, their surfaces are become contaminated and source of infection. Early days of corona pandemic, we heard there are very less chances of getting this disease through aerosol. But recent research are telling us this disease is spread through aerosol. Aerosols mean the further tiny particle which can suspend in the air for the longer time, which can travel across the air current and pass to the other people infected. What is critical of this corona thing is incubation period. This incubation period means the person who got exposed to another infected person, and then the time of developing the symptoms. In these cases, time of developing symptom ranges from 2 to 14 days. Majority of cases having the symptom within the 7 days, but many of the cases, many of the people are having symptoms at the 13 days and 14 days. So this 14 days quarantine, 14 days isolation is being practiced here. One important thing we talk about corona thing here is infectivity of this coronavirus patients, COVID patients. If person is symptoms or developing symptoms on the day 5, or you can day 5 or the date 5, he was infected on the date 2 or date 3. So even before symptoms appear, that person is infective. That is, I'm telling this for the information of the people listening here. It is not the symptomatic patient is spreading infection, but the asymptomatic patients are also spreading infection. To be very careful, if you came across any person before developing symptom, have to take care of few people. What are the symptoms? You might have heard about the symptom. इसमें खांसी, जुकाम, बुखार होता है. Of course, fever होता है, cough है, and the shortness of breath hai. They are the major symptoms which this virus have a clear-cut affinity for the lungs and the upper respiratory tract. But take a note, this virus is causing variety of symptoms, including loss of taste and smell, including skin rash. Very few people reported discoloration of the toe and fingers. Conjunctivitis, few patients reported conjunctivitis. Many cases have been come up with this GI symptom, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, etc. And general symptom, general body ache. We have seen patients without having any symptoms, but positive. So not only patients who are symptomatic, but the asymptomatic cases are there. Why this coronavirus is very serious than other flus? You might have infected by the common flu in the winters, early coming winters, or the season when season change, 2 or 3 days or 4 days of kind of body ache, nasal congestion, sneezing, cough, and fever. Everything will go without any bigger treatment. But this coronavirus, when it affected our body, it started damaging the microvasculature of lung, specifically the lung का जो micro बहुत बारीक तरह की blood vessels उनको damage करता है. उसके inflammation से coagulability of blood का थक्के जब नहीं की, तो coagulability of the blood increase. So along with inflammation of the lung, the coagulability of the blood and coagulation, hypercoagulation lead to ventilation perfusion mismatch. और जहां आपने देखा होगा कोरोना के अंदर ऑक्सीजन सैचुरेशन लोगों का फॉल करता है just because of corona affecting lungs in very serious way. Or this inflammation is the part where treatment is targeted. So who are the most common people at the risk? Majority of the elderly person. Very recent, some assumptions are, some calculations are there. out of 700 among the people or the patient and people of having age 50 year or more. People are at more risk. People are having diabetes, lungs disease, cardiac disease, cancer treatment पर है, kidney disease है उनको. They are more prone to get infection. Not only more prone to get infection, they are more prone to get serious type of disease. That's why the people with the higher age group, people with the comorbidities are more sick and they tend to go up to the ICU level. So initially, if you remember early days of the pandemic, some countries, some started talking about let us allow our young population to mix up socially, but take care of your elderly people and people with the comorbidity. During those days, that was a backlash from the scientists for this statement, but it is coming truer and truer in current scenario. It is very important that children are less number of person infected in current scenario, but no one is immune to this disease. No one is immune. You might have heard about the testing facility. There are two kinds of tests. There are one blood test, rapid antigen antibody test, and another was the RT-PCR. The RT-PCR is the technique where the test identify the RNA of the virus and detect that viral RNA and then diagnose that case. In our country, majority of tests are being done through this RT-PCR, which is the costlier test. Very recently, Government of India and ICMR has approved one lesser costly test and the faster test, which is called FELUDA. That test has been developed in India. Very soon, we will be having a third test available to us for this testing. As I told you, no treatment available for this disease, but yet we are treating the patient. Exactly, we doctors are treating the inflammation caused by this virus. We are not able to kill that virus in the body, but we are able to limit the inflammation within the body. Virus has its own course. It go away after 8 days, 7 days, but the inflammation remains in the body. We have seen patients who have been treated from this disease and have CT scan showing the inflammation and the injuries in their lung. So this disease, this virus is causing serious kind of inflammation within the body, specifically in the lungs. So CT scan is also being suggested by doctors in case patients are treated, no fever, but having the symptoms continuously. And some practitioners, some doctors are prescribing CT scan in the early stage, which is the costly test. So now, if you talk about the treatment, we are not giving any kind of treatment to virus, but there are some treatment which research says, some trials says they affect against the virus. Oral antiviral are available. There are injectable virus, remdesivir are available. Very recently, there was a studies which says that this injectable antiviral is not very effective in killing the virus. So every week, every month, every day, we are receiving a new information on this coronavirus. So things are changing very rapidly. You might have heard about this hydroxychloroquine combination if you're interested in some kind of treatment part of this. Vitamin C and Ayurvedic prescription, Ayurvedic preparations are also being suggested. Homeopathy prescriptions are always also being suggested for the prophylaxis. But we should be very clearly understand here, preventive aspect should be more important here rather than treatment aspect. If your patient is better than cure, you might have heard since ages. And there is no vaccine available for virus. No vaccine. Of course, there is developed vaccine very soon. Timeline for the vaccine. In usual vaccines, 7 years are required to develop a single vaccine. But for this coronavirus, within 1 year or within less than 1 year, we are about to have a vaccine by the end of this year or maybe the early months of this next year. But what with this vaccine will do, how many doses will be requiring, Will it be required every year? Although will be enough about anything. Things will be coming up very soon in this end of month. But Government of India has started working on how many vaccines will be requiring, who will be the first lot to get the infection. So this viral disease actually challenge all the medical and health people who are having day-to-day life, even the suffered from this disease, not on the health basis, but delay of the exam, education sessions, this and another. Corona talked in terms of health and medical only. Virus as a disease affecting people. It is economy, affecting day-to-day people, education system. It is affecting delivery. It is affecting the public health process. In small, Corona has we breathe. We have to mask all the casual places. It changes the teach. Remember the art of online teaching in last 6 or 8 months. For doctors, we learn the art of treating remotely. Doctors sending WhatsApp prescription, doctors sending SMS prescription or the scan prescription. But in recent year, everything has changed. So Corona has changed so many things, and that will be the critical aspect of the future development of everything, even with education, health, and everything. What I understand from Corona since the last 1 year, they have questioned all the status quo in all the sectors, including the health, education, development sector, economy, industry, everything has been questioned. Even majority part of Corona has questioned the developmental processes. विकास जिसकी हम बात करते थे, क्या विकास को हम उसी तरह से कर पाएंगे जिस तरीके से हम पहले बात करते थे? अगर हम ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स की बात करें, जहां पे हेल्थ और एजुकेशन बड़ा एस्पेक्ट होता है, तो क्या हम उसी तरह से कम्युनिटी से इंटरेक्ट कर पाएंगे, कम्युनिटी को समझा पाएंगे? किसी रिसर्च टॉपिक या कम्युनिटी असेसमेंट सर्वे की बात कर पाएंगे? Now it is time to ponder upon those issues. We have to talk about those issues. It is time to take a note of the changes within the system, changes in the scenario. ब्लैक बोर्ड चले गए. एक मेरे टीचर फ्रेंड है, वो कहते थे हम 100 साल से ब्लैक बोर्ड पे पढ़ा रहे हैं, कुछ भी नहीं बदला था, लेकिन पिछले 6 महीने में ब्लैक बोर्ड पुरानी चीज हो गई. सब कुछ ऑनलाइन. इवन नर्सरी क्लास के बच्चे ऑनलाइन पढ़ रहे हैं. ऑफ कोर्स ये ऑनलाइन एक तरह का इनइक्विटी का इशू खड़ा करता है. द पर्सन access to good quality of laptop or the mobile are able to get online classes. The person or the children who are sitting in the remotest village of this country, even the Jaisalmer, we talk about Jaisalmer, or we talk about the Himachal Pradesh rural area में, अगर उनके पास में लैपटॉप नहीं है, मोबाइल नहीं है, they are not able to access this education or the health services sometime. इस ऑनलाइन प्रोसेस ने, टेक्नोलॉजी ने जिस तरह हमको सपोर्ट किया है, जिस टेक्नोलॉजी को हम अपना सपोर्टिव टूल मान रहे हैं, इस ऑनलाइन प्रोसेस ने एक्चुअली लर्निंग प्रोसेस को चेंज कर दिया. हमारे पूरे लर्निंग प्रोसेस जो आप लोग पढ़ते क्लासरूम, सबको बदल दिया. क्लासरूम में हम लोग सिर्फ पढ़ते ही नहीं थे, हम सीखते थे. अगर हम अपने आज से साल भर पहले की अपनी क्लासेस की आप याद करें तो एवरीबडी वाज टॉकिंग टू एवरीवन. किसी के समझ में नहीं आया तो जस्ट साथ वाले बोला क्या बोला टीचर ने, आप उस तरह समझ पाते थे, लर्न कर पाते थे. चाणक्य ने एक जगह बोला था कि पढ़ाई का एम डिग्री नहीं है, पढ़ाई का एम जो आपने पढ़ा है वो नहीं है, उस पढ़ाई की जर्नी में जो सीखा है आपने वो होता है. इस ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन में हमने वो सब खोना शुरू किया है. किस तरह हमारे पॉलिसी मेकर्स और हमारे डेवलपमेंट एक्सपर्ट्स विल टॉक अबाउट दिस काइंड ऑफ कनेक्शन विद इन द ऑनलाइन टेक्नोलॉजी एंड द नीड ऑफ लर्निंग. अगर हम डॉक्टर पेशेंट के रिलेशन, पहले ये माना जाता था डॉक्टर जब हाथ लगाता है, इफ डॉक्टर टचेस यू एंड होल्ड योर हैंड टू सी योर पल्स और सी और एग्जामिन यू बाय योर देयर हैंड, तब वो फील होता था डॉक्टर इज ट्रीटिंग अस. Now things have completely changed for the smaller disease. Majority of doctors will not used to wear the gloves during their practices. Now they are wearing gloves. They are wearing mask. So it is a complete change scenario in health sector also, where human touch की कमी दिखने लगी है. Equity इस टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से एक बड़ा पार्ट बनता जा रहा है. So in summing up the things, what I would like to read some session I have written. This COVID-19 has taught us that we cannot leave health out of our priorities. Election agenda always mention the hospital and clinic in the area, but we have to be talking about the processes and of the facility for addressing such kind of future pandemic, future scenarios similar to COVID-19. क्योंकि हॉस्पिटल वही है, लेकिन अगर वो रेडी नहीं है पैंडेमिक को एड्रेस करने के लिए, जो हमने मार्च अप्रैल में देखा था, जिसकी वजह से आपने देखा होगा ऑलमोस्ट हॉस्पिटल बंद हो गए थे, सीरियस इलनेसेस को ही रिसीव कर रहे थे. तो ये जो सिनेरियो है, कोविड-19 ने हमें समझाया है कि हमें अब ये देखना पड़ेगा क्या हमारे हॉस्पिटल रेडी है चीजों को मैनेज करने के लिए. सेकेंडली, कोविड-19 हैज टॉट अस not to leave education to the stereotype of education processes. We need to evolve. We need to develop a model which accommodates such contingencies with keeping the learning process complete. We are missing a learning process जो पहले process हुआ करता था, community interaction का, वो सारी चीजें बदल गई हैं. So कहीं ना कहीं हमें इन सब चीजों पे सोचना पड़ेगा और ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. COVID-19 has taught us that we have to be firmer, stronger, and rational in handling situation like this. If you see March, April, and May, everything was locked down. That lockdown was justified by expert and administrator to make our health system and other system ready to handle the upcoming issues in this pandemic. But during that days, our system has behaved irrationally somewhere to we lost the time being where we can handle the disease. Further, COVID-19 has taught us to appreciate the people who are putting their life at the risk to save others. Doctors specifically, medical professionals, even the people who are supporting a sanitation worker or the administrative people. It is important to understand the people who are risking their life and risking their family life just because they have to take care of them because of their moral responsibility and duties. It is not a very simple thing कि doctors hospital में जाके treatment करना ही होता है. If they get respect, if they get kind of recognition within the community right now which we are getting, it actually lift up the esteem and lift up the community as a whole and as a community. So finally, I'll be closing down my discourse. COVID-19 does not know us because it is a very new thing. We might be very well aware about what COVID-19 virus is, COVID-19 disease is. We humans are here since ages on this earth. COVID-19 have not heard the Martin Luther King Jr., who used to say and used to sing, "We shall overcome one day." In the current scenario, in Hindi, हम आखिर में कामयाब होंगे. हमने बहुत पैंडेमिक देखी है, हम ये पैंडेमिक के रास्ते से गुजर रहे हैं. Finally, we will be overcoming this tough time. We will be changing ourselves. We will be evolving. We will be developing our new model, new institution, new processes around the learning of this COVID-19 experience, COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much for your kind listening, patience listening. Thank you very much, ma'am, coordinator, ma'am Akanksha ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for such knowledgeable words. Now, I feel proud to welcome Dr. Jayant Biswas, President, National Cave Biologist, and has done enormous research on bats. Today in this webinar, Dr. Jayant Biswas will be speaking on the topic cave tourism, cave bats, and COVID-19 cogitation on after effects. Dr. Jayant Biswas. Dr. Jayant Biswas. Sir, please.
Hello. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just a wait. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Today my topic is cave tourism, cave bats and COVID-19. Cogitation on after effect. As you know that in this COVID, the most responsible creature we are targeting is the cave bat, and we must know about its fact and figures. So first of all, I wish to say, what is ecotourism? I think all of you know the ecotourism is a catering for tourists in the natural environment without damaging it or disturbing habitats. Ecotourism will help not only to grow the environment, beautiful environment, but also the tribal living at the adjacent site to grow them also. So cave is an important part of the cave ecotourism. And if you wish to know what is the cave, a simple definition is there: a large naturally occurring cavity formed underground or in the face of a cliff of a hillside, large enough for a human to enter. Cave formed naturally by weathering dissolution of rock or of an extent deep underground. I think most of you have seen that Ajanta Ellora or also the natural caves. So these are the underground tunnels where human enters to just enjoy the panoramic views. So what are the types of the caves generally found in the world? First is the lava cave, then it is an erosion cave, then you can say the fracture cave, then you can say the limestone cave and glacier cave, and that is a sea cave. These are some of the types of the caves which attracts people for tourism purposes. So this is just for a knowledge that how the cave is formed. Just when rainwater get dissolved with the carbon dioxide, forms a very little acid that is known as carbonic acid, which dissolve the calcium carbonate and make hollow under the earth, and which forms ultimately a large cavity which is known as cave. So what are the structures actually inside the cave which attract the human beings? You can see here that structure, which is a very panoramic. It is known as stalagmite and stalactite. The hanging structure is stalactite, and glowing from the bottom to up is known as stalagmite. So this is just like a curtain shape. So this is also a very beautiful structure which is found inside the cave, which attracts the people. This is just like a egg boil. These are also structures which are found inside the cave. These rock set structures also found inside the cave, which attract the people to see the cave. This popcorn shape, this is also a type of a structure which attracts the tourist. This is soda straw structures, which is very panoramic, which attract the tourist. And this is chandelier. If you just light inside it, it will glow and give a very panoramic view inside the cave. So these are all the structures which attract generally the people, and it is known as, in nowadays, it is known as speleotourism instead of cave tourism or ecotourism. These are the cave pearl. This is also very rare inside the cave. So what are the characteristics of the cave? Perpetual darkness. As you know, inside the earth there is no light, so perpetual darkness is always exist. Almost constant geophysical structure, high humidity, low energy input, negligible predating pressure. These are some of the characteristics of the caves which attract the people to visit inside the cave. So what is the relation between corona and caves? This is today's our main theme. So I will little bit explain this. As we know it very well, the corona virus is invented mainly from the bat. So people targeted mainly bat as a source of the corona. So as you know, when it emerges, when the corona came, everybody started to target the bat because Chamgadar ke soup pine se hi phaila Chin mein. These types of news spreaded all over the world. The man who was a specialist in preparing the soup of the bats, he was targeted first and died due to the corona disease. So people threatened that the bat is the only source of the corona. Next, as you know, the China, Wuhan, the place where the disease spreaded, it was also told that all the patients were coming from the Wuhan, and the Wuhan is the main center where the virus work were going on. So actually, what is the cave? In nowadays, the cave is established as a living laboratory for the people because it gives many types of science. From the cave, many types of science emerges. That is evolution, archaeology, anthropology, etc., etc. And in India, the cave study started in the year of it's the Second World War time, when we are in search of a huge amount of phosphorus, and suddenly we got a big cave in Siju cave, from where the Britishers biologists started the research in the caves, and slowly the field is also started to grow in India also. So what are the type of the animal actually living inside the cave? So this is the true cave animal which become totally blind and totally albinic due to lack of light, and this attracts people to see see this inside the cave. People visit the cave to see such type of living organism inside the cave. As you can see here, it is totally albinic and totally blind. It is a special type of creature you can see inside the cave. These are the fish, which is known as cave fish. It is totally blind, totally albinic, and it attracts the human beings to see inside the cave. Second is the type of animal which accidentally trapped inside the cave, but phylogenetic, but it continuing its race inside the cave successfully. So these also attract the people. Sorry. No, nothing. And finally, the cave bats, which periodically leaving the cave for its food and going outside for feeding purposes and taking rest during the daytime as a cave roosting bat, you can say. So these are the most thing. You can see that cave bats which occupy the cave, the large cavities of the cave, and it is the main component of the cave because the energy source which of the cave is the main is the cave bat only. So I have already established these types of species from a single cave, that is Kutumsar, just to show you that what are the types of the animals which are found inside the cave. So what is the importance of the cave bat? We must know it, that single cave are consuming 1.5 times of his body weight the insects, which is also known as pest. So if you destroy all the bats, what will happen? You can know that you have to depend only on the pesticide, and which will certainly not beneficial for your human health. So how eco-friendly the bats, we have to understand first. Now, what are the other importance of the caves? Caves are the indicators of the health of the groundwater. So I will not go much details out because it is not under the topic of this seminar. Cave geomicrobiology. This is as you know, the cave is also an extremophile condition. It exists extremophile condition because there is no light and a constant temperature and no food. So the bacteria or the microbes which are existing inside those atmosphere are highly potent, and from there only anti-cancer drug also invented. So you can understand the importance of the cave. And cave bacteria have proved many types of antibiotics in medical fields, so we can't neglect the caves because it is very potent. Further, the cave geomicrobiology is also a field from where the various types of fungus, which are pathogenic also and which are beneficial also, has been invented. And the caves are also also show the importance, also shed light of in anthropological side. Most important site for anthropology is the Laxas cave, which is existing in France. It is, you can see our prehistoric human, how they painted the complete cave. From this Laxas cave, we came to know that our prehistoric human culture. In India also, there are many caves where you can see the prehistoric structures. So these are some of the importance of the caves. These are all the views of the Laxas cave. And in nowadays, due to heavy rush inside the cave, the paintings are going to...
Excuse me, sir. Sorry
Hello.
to interrupt you, sir. Sir, आपकी PPTs visible नहीं हो रहे हैं.
क्यों?
सर, आप कुछ PPTs दिखा रहे हैं, वो visible नहीं है.
It is completely blurred.
सर, screen share कर दीजिए.
Just a minute.
Sir, sorry sir for the interruption, but right side left corner, right corner mein, sir, there is an option of present now. There's an option of present now, sir. You can share the entire screen and please open the tab of presentation. Now it's visible, sir. Please continue.
Now it is visible. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, it is visible.
So may I repeat some of the earlier one?
You just go through quickly. Some of the slides will have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, please repeat.
Why you so late? So what are the caves? Actually, a large naturally occurring cavity from underground the face. So this is the cave. Just
It is visible.
so what are the types of caves? Okay, what are the types of cave you can see inside in the world? That is lava cave, erosion cave, fracture cave, the limestone cave, and glacier cave, and this is sea caves. These are some of the types of the caves which are found inside in the world. So this is the process how the cave actually forms. The rainwater mixed with the carbon dioxide and forms a very light acid which is known as carbonic acid, which dissolve the calcium carbonate, and it forms a cave in the hollow space inside the cave, and thus the cave forms. So what are the structure actually which attracts the tourist? These you can see that the structures which is also collectively known as speleothems, which is there are various names given to these structures. I'm just showing the structures only. This is a curtain, cave curtain. This is a omelette shaped structure found inside the cave. This is rock-set shape which is found inside the cave. These are the popcorn shape which is found inside the cave. These are the cave straw, you can say, which is found inside the cave. It's a chandelier shape which is found inside the cave, attracts the tourist. And these are the cave pearls, which is also found inside the cave. You can see the tourists get attracted towards this. And what are the characteristics of the caves? Perpetual darkness, almost constant geophysical factors, high humidity, low energy input, negligible predatory pressure. These are the characteristics of any cave. So now the main topic, relation between the corona and caves. As you all know that the corona came from the cave, from the bats. So these poor bats has been targeted to kill, or people get threatened from these bats, and everybody thinks that these are the only responsible for spreading the corona. So is it true? As you know, when it corona spread, so everybody started to say that the people who eat the soup of the bat, they spreaded the coronavirus. Is it clear? Hello? The man who is expert in prepare. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Boliye?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So what you want to say now? Hello?
Hello.
Is it clear or I should stop?
Sir, it is clear. You can continue.
Okay. So the person who was very famous in preparing the bat soup in China, he died also due to corona. Therefore, threat spread it. And you know the where they had corona. Therefore, threat spread it. So the case is also known as the laboratory of scientific laboratory, because various types of science came from the cave itself. In India, it started during the Second World War, when the huge deposition of phosphorus was supposed to invent, and we got a cave in Meghalaya that is known as Tiju Cave, and from there only the cave science emerges in India. And what are the animals which are living inside the cave and which attract the tourists also? This you can say the prawn, which is totally albinic and blind, which attracts the tourists inside the cave. So just see how it looks. It is totally albinic. The true cave animals are totally albinic and blind, which are found inside the cave. The fish also there, which is totally blind and albinic, and the people get attracted to see these types of animals. Second is the type of animal which accidentally got inside the cave and now continuing their phylogenetic race inside the cave. Third is the cave bats, which took shelter during the daytime as their roosting site, and leave the caves during night time for their feeding purposes. And these are the main threats to corona. So one paper I have published from the Chhattisgarh cave, that what are the main types of the animals which living inside the cave. So this is just to show that these types of animals could be found inside the cave. Now, what is the importance of the bat? You can see that a single bat consumes 1.5 times of its body weight insects per night. That is best. If you destroy the bat, then what will happen to our agriculture? You can think easily. Hello.
हाँ sir.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Huh? Any problem?
Hello.
Any problem?
No, sir.
So why someone is saying that is hello? So bat can consume 1.5 times of its body weight per night. So these are also the importance of the cave. So I am just skipping this. I think you know that one new Meghalayan age came into existence from the year 2018, which is also came from the Indian caves Meghalaya. Now, the main question is, do the poor bats are only responsible for the present endemic? The history of coronavirus is about 20 years old. It was properly identified in the year 2000. We threatened when in the year 2003, a health worker infected badly by its corona and died in the hospital of China. At that time, this disease was named as a SARS-CoV-2. And after that, it was not spreaded badly, and it was not pandemic, but it was recognized at that time. Second, do the poor bats are responsible for the present endemic? As per the paper published in 2017, where 10667 species from 7 families were tested for coronavirus, in which 7% was found infected. Some of them were resembled with human corona. Now, it was a big question whether the virus is restricted in the animal kingdom of China only. No, it was not also identified from the bat of the Rocky Mountain of US also. It is found mostly in bats because bats' human system can resist it. Obviously, the possibilities for getting anti-vaccine against corona from bats also increases as per research published in 2007 against antibody against SARS-CoV-2. Now, do this COVID-19 is directly related to bat? The same type of gene structure was already recovered from pangolin as well as from camel too. If it is directly from animals, so why so late in coming? It is also a question. Coronavirus also detected from other animals and birds in the year of 2013. However, in this respect, why human beings are targeting the poor bats? It is found mostly in bats because bats' immune system, as I have told you, it is very strong. But we should not kill the bat which are living inside the cave, because something has been manipulated in that virus which is spreading this pandemic. So these are the news came from the Indian scientists also, that they are requesting the people that don't target the bats. Bats are not only the responsible for this pandemic, and don't avoid the cave. So it is not so much fear to enter the cave, but what are the minimum precaution we are taking? We have to take to get inside the cave also. But we must know that bats are not sole responsible for this COVID. They are very much important, as it is shown. So people are using this coronavirus of bats also as the weapon. As you can say, this type of weapon are going through all over the world. So they are using, might be using this also. And if the bat is only responsible for the cave, for the pandemic, so how this fellow also got infected without going to any cave is also a big question. Okay, thank you. I'm completing my.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for getting us the insights of situation. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Now it's time to call upon Dr. Upendra Nath Roy. He has 27 years of experience at UG and PG level at IIT Delhi and NITTR Chandigarh. He has presented research papers at various international conferences, and he has also been invited as a research team member to Aston University, Birmingham. Today, he will be speaking on the topic Challenges of Sustainable Rural Development under COVID-19 Economy. Sir.
Yes.
Dr. Upendra Nath Roy.
Yes. So thank you, madam. And I got the opportunity to listen to two learned biologists who have been talking about this COVID and the science of COVID. And particularly this second presentation was very, very nice, that how the bats are not only responsible for such kind of a problem which has been created by us. So we have to understand the ecology and environment, and accordingly we have to act. So my dear friends, my presentation will be entirely different in the context of rural development, because I have been working in the Department of Rural Development So you can tell me that we have been working with the farmers and the villagers, that how we can find some kind of a solution and what are the new things we can do in the rural development so that our economy improves. So in this presentation, I will touch upon the three important issues. The impact of COVID 2019 on Indian economy. It is all known to everybody. It is a devastating impact on our people. It created a migration of the rural labor from the cities where they have been working. So about 1 crore such migrants returned back to their home. Now they are facing another kind of challenges. Then as a solution, I will be presenting an innovative farming model which we have developed here through our institution and working with a group of the farmers. So I will cover these three things, and I hope you are able to see my slides. Can anybody confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So the impact of COVID 2019 on economy, it is devastating. So around 12.2 crore people lost their jobs, and how the COVID-19 will challenge the job prospects and hiring in India. So the future job prospects are also in problem. So number of small industries got set up, and now it is getting revived after the opening of the economy. But a lot of damage has already been done. So even though there are several countries that have been hit a lot harder by the COVID-19 than India, somehow the India's unemployment rate was skyrocketed to staggering about 27.1%. So our major problem is the unemployment, and the youth are not getting employment, and it has become further worsened due to this COVID. So that is the biggest challenge we do have. So whether we talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat or bringing the country on a development path, it is going to be a biggest challenge. So this was a biggest crisis which the humanity or the world has faced after 1930 slowdown. In 1971, also there was a slowdown on the economy due to the petroleum crisis. But in 1930, that was the biggest depression from the economic point of view. And this is the further biggest crisis which we have faced. And it is not other than this we have faced before in 1930. It may be more than that, because in terms of economy, we have grown like anything. So in terms of money or in terms of economy, we got devastated. So the COVID-19 could cause economic loss of $8.8 trillion, 9.7% of the global GDP, as per the May 2020 Asian Development Bank report. So Indian economy was expected to lose over 32,000 crore, which is about 4.5 billion United States dollar every day during the first 20 days of the complete lockdown, which were declared following the coronavirus outbreak. And under the complete lockdown, we lost about $2.8 trillion. And that's why, due to this pressure, we had to open after the June. So my dear friends, you might have come through this figure. So we have gone down up to minus 24% GDP decline, and that is the biggest challenge for all of us. So we have to understand this situation, and now we have to talk about the revival of such system. During this period, about 1 crore people, they left the cities and they wanted to come back to their places, back to home, and there was a kind of unilateral decision by the central government. We further created a kind of a crisis for all the migrants, because in between remaining in the cities, they got further infected by the immigrants or the outside people who came to India, and particularly Delhi, Mumbai, got further infected, and with this reached to their villages, 10% they got infected, and they further infected the other people there. So that was a kind of a situation. Government of India had a report that 1 crore migrant returned, and as per this report, Bihar 15 lakh people returned as per the record. But I know because I come from Bihar, so about 40 lakh people they returned back to their home during that period, and it was a big devastating problem for them. And still half of them they are staying back at their home, and that is going to play and kind of impact on this present election. So, my dear friends, my presentation would be that can we do something in agriculture and that we can take from the Mother Earth and learning from the Mother Earth? Can we think about the sustainable agriculture system is the path to save the Mother Earth and humanity? So, if it is there, then how we have to decide and how we have to follow the path? I'll give you some example that you might have seen. Our countryside is beautiful. All over the country, we have beautiful nature, water, land, and forest. The people, our diversity, biodiversity, we are rich in all such things. But only thing is that we could not manage it nicely as we did somewhere very well. And that's why uneven development took place. We devoted more to Punjab and Haryana by making the dams like Bhakhara and providing channels. So it also reached partly to Rajasthan. But what about the other parts of the country like West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha? So we lacked all such things there. So now my suggestion will be that there is still a lot of opportunity, and we can take a chance to go for organic farming, particularly in the horticulture, means fruits and vegetables, which I see as a better prospect. And for that, we have been working here. Let me give you an example how the people in Punjab, they are enterprising. Meet this man. His name is Mr. Harsan Singh. And he was a young man, 2001 and 2. I met him. He had a Kamaljeet dairy farm in the name of her wife. And very, very energetic young guy. What he did, he started a dairy farm with a 25 calves, and he grew it very well, and later on it was multiplied, and he returned the bank loan from the government with the NABARD, and after that he got a bigger loan for about 100 cows, and his aim was to create a modern dairy, and he was successful in creating modern dairy in 5-6 year time. After doing a good job in dairy farming, and he was a best dairy farmer because he has 1 or 2 cows which were the best milk producer in Punjab, maybe 48 liter, 49 liter. That kind of a competition he has been fighting here. Apart from this, then he also added another activity with a piggery. So now you can see, and he also, as you know, the farms animals, particularly the foreign breed cows, they want some kind of a cool atmosphere, and some kind of a pool is must for them, particularly in the summer period, so that they can better atmosphere, they can cool down, and their metabolic or the body temperature is maintained so that they can give you better milk yield. So, and in this, further he also tried for the fish farming, and he had 2 biogas plant, and the slurry of the biogas plant was reverted back to these ponds, which was working as a feed for the fish. So this way he has multiplied his own things in a very systematic manner, and this is possible in the villages itself. This may be called as a zero waste management system. So what I call it, integrated farming is possible in the villages, which may be economically viable. You can add 2-3 projects. Otherwise, if you cannot manage the 2-3 projects, you cannot go for it. But you can add 2-3 projects which are mutually beneficial, and resource of one unit or the waste of one unit becomes the resource for the another unit. And this way, the things multiplies, and this whole project becomes economically viable and ecologically sound. So this person was working in that way. And 3-4 years back, he went to Georgia and he started a big piggery farm with his friend. And maybe in the 2-3 years, he earned a lot of money, maybe the crores of rupees he earned. But later on, what he did, he invested in constructing a big palace in his village. Maybe about 3 crores of rupees was invested in construction of a big palace, which is not required by a farmer like him. So, my dear friends, he earned a lot of money. He could have multiplied as a business for the other people there. But पंजाबी शान दिखानी थी, इन्होंने लगभग 2.5 से 3 करोड़ के जितना पैसा कमाया जॉर्जिया में जाकर, वो सारा एक बड़ा महल खड़ा कर दिया. आप जाएंगे तो वो कोई 5-star होटल से कम नहीं है. This was one example. Then there are some examples from the small farmers also in Punjab, maybe thousands of such farmers in Punjab area, maybe 4,000 to 5,000. They are working on a beekeeping as an additional business. And for the small farmers, it is also a lucrative business because from one box, at least you can get about 40 to 50 kg of honey in a year, particularly in the mustard crop. You might have seen all from the Rajasthan. You are full of mustard, and the mustard research center is located at Bharatpur. And there is a lot of opportunities that these farmers may be also trained, and part of the time they can earn from the honey cultivation. But in summer period, they have to migrate the boxes to other places because you all are biologists. You understand the behavior of the bees and the flora which are found in the nature. My dear friends, I am located here at NITTR, Chandigarh National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research. And basically, we are the teachers trainer from polytechnics and engineering college teachers. They come to us and we train them. But we are working in the Department of Rural Development with 155 polytechnics, and we are doing some kind of a rural development activities with these polytechnics. And we try to propagate various appropriate technologies through these institutions. My dear friends, let us come to the organic farming. Basically, we want to go for natural farming, and we are not going to use any synthetic fertilizer, and natural way we have to collect and recycle everything. And even for the pest control, we have to go for biocontrol or such methods which are beneficial from the environment point of view. So we have to control the pest, but not in a chemical way. So they are the benefits of organic farming. It has been there, but only thing is that most of the agriculture scientists in our country, they conducted less and less research in this organic farming. So that's why there is a lot of myth and many things are prevailing. So there are various names of organic farming, or the nomenclature has been defined by the various groups of the scientists and the people who practiced it. Some they called the DC farming because they used to go for the farming in the backyard of their ashrams. Then traditional farming, the farmers have been doing in all parts of the country, particularly of the tribal areas, still they are practicing. Natural farming is another term introduced by a person called Masanobu Fukuoka. He was a farmer and scientist from Japan, place called Fukuoka. And he said that natural way also we can go for farming. And he used to grow paddy. He used to keep some birds, and he used to also go for fish cultivation in the paddy farm. So in his particular ecosystem, he developed that system. Here also in Madhya Pradesh and some other places, this natural farming was tried, but this model did not work very well. Another terminology is named as the biodynamic farming, where a lot of emphasis has been given to inputs, like creating some kind of a better inputs so that good quality of compost, good quality of mixture of some minerals like phosphorus, sulfate, something like homeopathic medicine which we can create and use on the plants. So they are another group of ideas where the German and some of the scientists from New Zealand, they are working. And at present, an old farmer is known as Peter Proctor. He has been visiting country again and again. And there is a farm called Sir Daman's Patel farm in Baroda, where this biodynamic farming has been practiced a lot. But my dear friend, there is another term which has been used by the scientists. They are called permaculture. It was developed by the Australian scientist, and it has also some kind of a meaning how to design your farm. So sometime if you come across any training program, we have been organizing some training program on such things, you can get more on such things. And presently there is a term called zero budget natural farming started by Subhas Palekar. So there is a lot of criticism also in nature, there no farming, maybe the zero budget farming. Now he has changed this terminology and he has been advocating work on the local cows. But what about the regions where the local cows are not available, like in Himachal Pradesh, where he has been trying to grow organic apple. So my dear friends, I will tell you because most of you are the science students. So input, process, and output must be your sound. Then only you can have a better result. So as an input, you have to have better inputs, better machinery, so that you can minimize the burden of labor. You can use the things precisely where it is required, and many such things, machines and processes are very, very important. And then processes, you have to go for the crop rotation so that you can change the crop so that you get fertilization of the soil through the nitrogen fixation. Then integrated pest management, seed treatment is also important, biocontrol, and the tools, machines are always required, and better use of labor, because organic farming is mainly labor intensive farming, and you have to learn about the inputs. So the various inputs are available. So still some research is required, which kind of input will be better in particular climatic conditions. So my dear friends, we have to follow the natural cycles, by the way. So in 2010-11 at NITTTR Chandigarh, we thought, let us do some experiment. So we got a small place in the backyard of our building where we developed a neater organic farm in 2011. And 3-4 years, we tried to do some experiment because the shade was coming in this particular zone. So we are getting few crops which we grew through organic inputs like cow dung slurry coming out of the biogas plants. But my dear friend, in 2015, we came with a kind of a solution to the farmers who have been practicing organic farming. And this came in 2015. And why I resorted to this experiment, there is some story behind it. My dear friends, in 2010 onwards, we have been organizing number of seminars, inviting group of scientists, advisors, planning commission members, environmentalists, farmers. All together, we used to organize a group of the people who were concerned about agriculture in general and sustainable agriculture in particular. So we invited a group of the scientists, group of the teachers, group of the representatives of the farmers to understand the whole of the situation. And then we got in touch with some innovative farmers like Jagat Singh Jangli. He comes from Rudraprayag. He has developed a mixed forest in his village. Rajkumari Devi practicing organic farming. This year she got Padam Shri. And Ram Saran Burma has a unique model of high-tech farm in Barabanki, where he has a turnover of about 5 crores rupees in a year by cultivating banana and other cash crops like potato, tomato, etc., etc. He mainly work on the cash crops so that he sell it and get the kind of a thing. Recently, he has also introduced organic farming, organic banana cultivation in about 30 acres of the land. Similarly, there is Mr. Jasveer Singh working in Ludhiana. So my dear friends, my purpose is that we developed a network with the farmers. So many of our lectures or training programs, we invite such people so that they can come here and they can interact with the people. My dear friends, in 2015, here at NITTTR Chandigarh, we organized a big seminar in about 2,500 farmers from all across the country. They were invited and we joined hands with the 2-3 NGOs here. So you can see when the NGO join, bigger people join, then what happens? So the big inauguration, big stage, big expenditure. First day, Chief Minister Haryana was invited. Second day, Governor Haryana was invited. Many such dignitaries were invited. And third day, Prakash Singh Badal was also invited, Chief Minister of Punjab. So, my dear friends, what happened in these 3 days? What I saw, I associated with a group of genuine people. I thought these NGO people, they are doing a very right kind of a job. But in return, I got a big pain in my heart because the farmers' issues were never discussed. They only talked about the pump and so, and the farmers' issue remained under the carpet. So it created a kind of a pain for me because I provided all kind of platform to them. And for 1 year, we have been working for it. And what was the result? Farmers' issues remained under the cover. Then after that seminar in February 2015, then after 2-3 months, then we took a step that let us go for some kind of action research, some experiment with the farmers. And then we started a small farmers market, weekly farmers market at our institution in 2015. And this weekly farmers market got started. I made an important point that somehow I have to continue this market for at least 2 years. First day, only 7 farmers came. Second week, once again, 7-8 farmers came. We continued. We did not talk about much. And whosoever wanted to come, we invited them. And we started the venture. But after 6 months or so, we got a group of volunteers and we created a volunteers group called CHAI, Chandigarh Holistic Agriculture Initiative. So this group was created, and through the volunteers, in which some of the consumers, some of the farmers, they joined hands together, and we shifted this whole market into nearby bigger place in a polytechnic for 1.5 years. So about 2 years, we nurtured this whole market, and now it started picking up. So it started picking up. So in the second year, what was the income farmers used to get? About 6,000 to 7,000 rupees, and only 5 to 10 farmers were there. They used to get per month 6,500 rupees. But in 2017-18, this market picked up, and the Chandigarh administration provided us a beautiful place near to Sukhna Lake, near to a forest. There is a natural forest where is a trail is there. So we got a place there, and gradually we started organizing the market, and through the message of the mouth, this market multiplied. About 300 to 400 consumers come to this market every week, and now it is doing very, very well. So even we took the support of the governor. He comes from the Ajmer itself, Bannoor Saab, and other PA2 secretary, governor, he is also supporting us. So in spite of the lockdown, he gave us permission after 3-4 months to start the market. Once again, I will tell this. So my dear friends, with a group of volunteers and farmers and consumers together, this market has become a self-sustainable model. In 2019, we conducted a study on about 20-25 farmers. So we got the report that each farmer is getting on an average about 24,000 rupees a month from the 4 markets, means 6,000 from 1 market. And in 2019, once again, we conducted a study. So some of the farmers, they came with some innovative ideas. They multiplied their products, and they even went to 80,000 per month, 90,000 per month. So due to 1 or 2 farmers, this average went up, and about 30,000 is being gained by the people. So from March to September first week, this whole market was closed and the farmers were in trouble. But the governor announced the opening of this market, and in September first week, this market was once again opened. Now it is once again picking up. So my dear friends, my submission is that we have integrated our innovative farmers from this region, and we are trying to multiply this activity. Even in Himachal Pradesh, this young man who is a computer professional, did MCA from Pune University, was working in Bangalore. Now he is growing organic apple in Roadiv district, following the innovative scientific method. And similarly, we organized some seminar in Himachal Pradesh also to multiply this event, this activity in Himachal Pradesh, and gradually in Himachal Pradesh also, governor started some activity with the farmers of the Rodu, and he also visited the Mr. Joginder Singh farm in 2018. I also got an opportunity to go there on 5th and 6th August 2018, and the governor visited his place, Mr. Acharya Devvrat, that he is the governor of Gujarat at present, and he was very much interested in organic farming, and he was very much interested, and Joginder Singh and group of the young farmers, they are organizing about 100 more farmers, and they have formed an association. So they are the farmers who got benefited initially 8,000 to 60,000. Another person, Mr. Rajkumar Arya, he has received number of awards from Haryana government, even from at national level. He is a very, very keen observer and very good farmer cum scientist. So in farm, there is everyday research. Only scientist cannot do that. So my dear friend, so this way we have added to variety of particularly vegetables and fruits which are being sold here in the market. And we have created a self-sustainable model here. So in the future, we have to some kind of a challenges in organic farming that we have to go some kind of a certification. And at present, this is dependent on the peer group learning exercises, and we certify through the group of the scientists, what we call peer group certification. And we visit the farm practices of the farmers, and based on that, we keep the record, and we are trying to maintain all such things. So my dear friends, in future, if we go for innovative and smart agriculture, then it has some kind of a future. It is maybe profitable agriculture, and then we can go for the value addition and marketing, and networking is important. So it will lead to the sustainable development of the people. So my dear friends, thank you very much for the patient listening. And now it is over to. So I will stop my presentation. So over to the organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for acknowledging the problem faced at rural level in these hard COVID times. Thank you, sir. Any queries, students?
Any question you can write in the chat box. I can answer one or two. The student can write the question
you can
in the
ask
chat box.
Questions.
Please write down in the chat box if you have any query or the question. If you are interested in such activity. I'm writing my email ID. If you have any problem in future, you can ask me.
Okay. Now we would like to invite Dr. Yashasvi Shakdvipiya. She is BHMS Gold Medalist, MD, Assistant Professor, Homeopathy University, Jaipur. Today, Dr. Yashasvi will guide us for post-COVID healthcare.
Thank you, Mrs. Krishna. Yes, can you hear me, see me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am very thankful to MJRP University to inviting me for this and a learned platform to present myself. And I listened to Dr. Upendra also, and sir, your presentation was very nice and informative too. And I have been to MJRP since 2 years. I am attending their lectures and presenting, taking some classes also for them. So without wasting much of time, let me start with my presentation. So is it visible? Ms. Kripa, can you tell me whether my presentation is visible to you or not?
No, ma'am. Your presentation is not visible.
Just give me a time. Just.
Ma'am, please share the screen.
I have already shared it. I'm sharing the screen, but should I share how to open this PPT here?
मैडम पहले प्रेजेंट नाउ में जाइए, उसको क्लिक करिए.
हाँ, that I already did, sir.
इसके बाद जो बॉक्स नजर आएगी उसके अंदर क्लिक कर दीजिए. जहाँ पर आपका कंप्यूटर खुल रहा है उस पर
Okay, yeah, fine, thank you so much. Thank you.
उसके बाद शेयर नाउ कर दीजिए.
So I think, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now it is visible.
स्लाइड शो पे चले जाए मैडम, पूरा दिखेगा नहीं, आधा दिखेगा. गो टू स्लाइड शो.
Ma'am, continue, please.
Okay. So is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
So as we are talking about COVID-19 reform, the topic which you have chosen for this seminar, so this pandemic as of 11th March 2020 unpredictable. Having a lot.
Excuse me, ma'am, there is problem in your voice is not clear.
Is it now? Hello? Can you hear me? So
Message.
Hello. Hello.
Health post-pandemic,
Hello, hello. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Is it now?
Hello.
Hello?
Ma'am, your voice is
Hello?
not clear. Hello.
I some network issue regarding. How can you listen me? Am I audible?
No, ma'am.
Am I audible now? in the advisory also history has stated three of that is at the individual level, and mental health and health level. So approximately 80% people who are facing this, who are being diagnosed as COVID patients, mostly of illness or good history. These people onset of their symptoms.
Mohammed Anas. Sorry for interruption. For some network issues, we are connecting with next speaker. Now we would like to invite Dr. S.P. Mehra. He is environmental cum development professional, advisor, Rajputana Society of Natural History. Today he will focus on pandemic mix and enviropreneurship development case study from Rajasthan. Dr. S.P. Mehra.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I think my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I think my screen is also visible. I hope so. So thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to connect with all of you. And I will be just giving in brief because already the learned speakers from Dr. Naresh to Dr. Biswas to Professor Roy Saab already mentioned a lot of issues. And what I will be presenting here is basically more focused on this pandemic and especially the wildlife scenario, what we are making, the bat as the victim of this particular COVID or pandemic. So let's quickly go through the historical, although Dr. Naresh spoken well about all these aspects. But this is what has been given so far about the pandemics. We observed, the human society already observed a lot of such type of pandemics in their society. And recently, what we are facing is somewhat, I will say that it's not purely the case where what the statements are coming that it is due to the wildlife or due to some particular organism, or especially the bats. This is not the case, because in the earlier presentations and earlier speakers already mentioned that there is some transformations which took place due to human involvement, which has caused such type of pandemic. So let's see what is the case. Now, talking about all these the issues, the causing agents, or what we say the viruses or XYZ, the bacteria or whatever the animals, but see the cases here. If pandemic is especially targeted, that what are the cases for the pandemic? There are the several causes, but out of that, our interest is biodiversity. So biodiversity is basically the natural reservoir of a lot of viruses. And what the humans are doing, presently, we, the humans, on the name of scientific development, or on the name of, the inventions or discoveries, we had created or disturbed some cycles, the natural processes, the natural cycles. And that's what the result we are getting in the form of, COVID-19, the pandemic. ये सब मनुष्यों की कारगुजारी है कैसे? Let's see. Now, the same scientists to whom we code, or we all are the scientists, we are working on these, pandemic and their solutions. So out of the scientific community, it is well reviewed and even found that whatever the virus is available in the nature are not directly causing any such type of disastrous impact on human lives. And they need some several stages to become the lethal. Now, if we disturb the cycle, or by somehow we just minimize or cut off that particular transformation cycles, definitely, obviously, the same causing agents, the viruses, could be made directly available to the humans for their whatever the lethal action is. And that's what we can see in the today's world. That's what we can see in the present COVID scenario. So that is what I would like to state here, that simply making bat as a villain, we have to think that already the bats, they are having the viruses. Dr. Biswas already mentioned about that. So many viruses are there, but simultaneously human too has got a lot of viruses inside it. Now, which particular virus will be mutated by what causes, and whatever the external, in the present world of information age, when we are more or less mechanized in every sense, and the mutation is now very easy. So which particular virus will mutate and convert into some causing agent for another disease? That's what we are doing right now, and we are facing the challenges. So that's what we have to think over it. Whether natural wildlife sector are the causative agents, or the bat is real the villain or not. From all these aspects, we can, simply give our statement that we had broken the chain. And we means the humans, the scientists. Just the over-enthusiastic approach, or the blind race of so-called the technological development, or even I can code or interpret that the chemical or biological warfare. So that's what the reasons which pushed this particular environment to release such type of dangerous viruses to cause the pandemic. And simultaneously, if we are saying that this is what the feature, then definitely what the nature we are disturbing, if we are clearing the forest, if we are killing the animals, if we are disturbing the natural setup, of course, such type of pandemics will frequently occur nowadays. Now see, in the first of the slide, when we were seeing about the historical pandemic, cycles, there was a lot of gaps. But right now, as mentioned by even Dr. Biswas, Dr. Naresh ji, sir, that from 2002 onwards, in a very short span, we are facing such type of challenges. So earlier, the same coronavirus, same COV strain that was termed as SARS in 2002, and immediately in 2004, then 2006-7, and then 2009-10, and of course 13-14, and right now in 2019. This particular span is going down and down, shrinking, Why? Because of the same human interventions. So we have to think that we are disturbing the nature. We are causing this natural reservoir to release such type of causing agents in the environment. And if the hosts are killed or they are completely wiped out from the nature, definitely the human, means the causing agent or that particular virus, will search the new host. And human is very well, in the good host for such type of viruses, and that's what is happening right now. So that's what we have to think over our actions, our development approach. And this is what we are saying, the challenges. Disturbing the nature, definitely releasing the lot of such type of viruses or such type of microorganisms which can directly impact the humans. This is one of the examples. These all are the case studies. I had just quoted from the scientific papers, well-known scientific papers, and even the medical sciences. So here you can see about the simple cause, the malaria. We all are well aware. And recently, a very good study on this Amazonian forest. They represented that disturbance or decreasing of this Amazonian forest are causing the malaria to increase. So this is a very simplest, example, which is very beautifully studied by the team of scientists. So such type of mechanism, which we are, just enhancing from our ambitions or enthusiasm or in the blind race of development towards the technological side, are the causes of pandemics. And recently, the biodiversity loss, what I had mentioned right now, that we are losing the wildlife, we are losing the biodiversity, definitely releasing the natural reservoirs, clearing the natural reservoirs and releasing that positive organism to search the new host, and the human is very easily available host because human population is rising up. So that's what we are. So biodiversity is right now taken as very important factor in to work over it. This is what we are saying, the spillovers, and what we say that right now we are facing the challenges of pandemic. And we all know the urban centers are the hotspots, not the rural centers or not the forest areas or the natural landscapes. And in India, we can see how the Delhi or Mumbai, they are very much affected. And even in that, we'll find that the areas which are highly densely populated. So how this is going on? So such type of papers, they had very well studied all these impact of the pandemics. So I will not go in the details because due to the shortage of time, I will just skip. I had got a lot of aspect to cover already. So these all are the drivers which are giving us, the route towards our pandemic. So get ready. Already Dr. Naresh spoken that get ready for the new pandemic to come on. So this was not only the pandemic which we think that now it is the over. And if we overcome this particular pandemic, then get ready for next pandemic. And that could be far much more dangerous than what we are observing right now. And this is what the past 2 decades story can easily, we can interpret from such type of, frequent observance. So my simple approach here to make the sustainable approach to overcome such type of issues, definitely in the olden days, the environment was the prima facie, the first and important aspect, and then covers the other thing. But today, the economy is taking the place of environment. And of course, everything, both of them, we consider only when humans are there. And that's where the social pillar comes. So these 3 pillars are the main for sustainability. And that's why the Sustainable Development Goals have been framed by the global community. And accordingly, we have to work. And right now, this SDG 3 is very important in present scenario. Of course, all these 17 SDGs are correlated, but let's see how we worked and how we came across this challenge in Rajasthan, especially in the Bharatpur area. So what we did is that we had simply learned about the potential in India. So past 23 studies of me and my team, we found that what are especially the potential field where we can work with the nature and overcome such type of challenges. And that's what we are doing. So this is one of the opportunity which we found. And already Dr. Biswas mentioned about the cave tourism, the ecotourism in that. And India has got some about 500 cities, the towns, and some 8,000 towns are there. So somewhat around 8,500, you can see the urban centers. But still we are having a lot of potential in village areas. So almost around 6.5 lakh villages are there to cover and to work with such type of to cope up with such type of challenges. And here we find the different zones in terms of natural habitats. So these all are the ideal spots where we can find out the opportunities. Already organic agriculture, Professor Roy Saab mentioned that how they created the created a complete sustainable model. So likewise, we can search out different habitat and different aspect. Accordingly, we can work not only in the agriculture sector but also in the non-forestry products. So we are having a lot of opportunities, and of course, India is the 8th mega diverse nation. So we are having a lot of potential in the diversity, and still we have to, taxonomists are not available. And our ancestral, or we can say the history of India or the Indian culture is already the eco culture.